this is a continuation from lesson 23. So, MPS equals, oops, sorry, can't do it there, is percentage. Whereas IMPs is points. What's the difference? The difference is this. The percentage depends on how many people have got your score. So assuming, alright, I'm going to give you a typical example. Assuming there's 4 people, 4 teams, say team 1 or pair 1. Okay, we call it pair 1. This is an MPS game, okay? Pair 1. They were in a contract of 2 diamonds. So let's just put 2 diamonds there. And they made their contract, which is 90. Pair 2. Pair 2, silly. And they bid 1 no trump. 1 no trump. And what do they get for 1 no trump? You get 40 and 50 is 90. Okay? Pair 3. What did they bid? They were 2 hearts, assuming. And they made an overtrick. So, an overtrick in a part score, all you do is you just add that score to it. You see that 30? So to make 1 is 80, to make 2 it's what's it? Add 30 is 110, to make 3 is 140. So it's 140, that's it. Pair 4. What did they do? They doubled opposition. They doubled opposition and it was -2. And assuming opposition was not vulnerable. That's 300. I'll show you how to count that 300, okay? Show you how do we get that score. Alright, so now let's look at the score. MPS scoring. Okay. And this is all for this, assuming each one that we're talking about over there are north-south, okay? They're sitting north-south. Okay, so now we look at the scores. We find, holy cow, 300 north-south has got, the highest score is pair 4. So, pair 4 would now get 100%. That's how you get 100%. Okay, I just had to clarify the percentages. Yeah, and I think this is the correct percentages over there. So you notice that pair 3 got 100%, pair 2, which is the second highest, got 66%, and then they're both the same, which are joint bottom. That's what you call them, a joint bottom, and they both get 16%. Okay, don't worry about this. This is just my calculation on the percentages. Okay, so now what we do is we'll change it just one little bit. Assuming pair 1 also with 2 hearts. 2 hearts. Let me see. Now let's make it a little different. Let's make it 3 clubs, okay? Alright. Then they made 3 clubs. So if they make 3 clubs, it's 90 and 50 is 140.
It's 5 o'clock.
No, 60 and 50. Oh, geez, 60 and 50 is 110. I'm going crazy. Okay, so assuming they bid 3 clubs, I want something in between here. Let's say they also bid 1 no trump. Okay, 1 no trump, and they made 2. All right. So all these percentages are not valid anymore. All right. So there we go. Pair 3 is the highest, 100%. Correct. Who's the lowest? Pair 2. They only made 1. So you notice they bid the same, but because they only made 1, they made a contract, but it's still a lower score. They got a 0%. Yes. Who was then the second highest? Second highest was pair 1. Alright? And second highest would get 75% and doesn't get a 0, but he gets 25% pair 4 as being the third highest. Do you see that? Do you see the percentages of how they work? That's MPS. Alright? So MPS. Now, in IMPs, okay, now to be able to get the scores of the points in MPS, what you normally do is look at the contract of the bidding box. Okay, take the card where the contract is. So you look at 1 no trump, and it tells you if it's a +1, which means that it's an overtrick, and what your MPS score is. Okay, so in this particular instance, 120 would give you 3. Just 3. 90 would be 3 as well. So 90 to 120 is a 3. But 140 would be a 4, and a 110 would be a 3. Alright. Now look at the difference between MPS and IMPs. Okay. This is the beauty about MPS. That's why I love playing MPS. Overtricks count tremendously. Even though you get 1 more in IMPs, and then the rest are the same scores, so irrespective of whether you made 90 or 120, you're still going to get the exact same score in IMPs. 110 gives you the same score, but 140 takes you to a higher bracket, which is 4 points. But the difference between IMPs and MPS is blatant. You can see that right here. Now, if you are vulnerable and you, let's say you're vulnerable and non-vol. Okay, and you go down -1. Is it doubled? No, it's not doubled. If you're vulnerable, you get a -100. If you're not vulnerable, it's only 50. You go 2 down, it's -200. Not vulnerable, well, just 100. What if you go down 3? Same thing, just add 100 each time. And 54 non-vulnerable, sorry, it becomes 150. Alright, do you see that? The pattern is the same. What do you get for -4 down? -400. And you're non-vulnerable, -200. Okay. Alright, now what happens if -1 and you are doubled? and you're vulnerable. That's 200 compared to the 100. And if you're non-vulnerable, it's 100. Oops, sorry, minus. I don't want to give you a plus when you should really deserve a minus. Okay, what if you're 2 down and you are doubled and you're vulnerable? Aha! I think I got you now. What do you think it is? Is it just double that? Which means, like we have with vulnerable? No, it's not. When you are doubled, it becomes 500. So you add 300 after each trick when you are doubled. And the same goes with non-vol. So it's 1 and then 300 and minus 3 doubled minus 800. Oh, go over there. 800. And if you're non-vulnerable, it's minus 500. Okay, let's take one more. And if you 4 down doubled, the reason why I'm doing this is I want to show you when to sacrifice and when not to. Okay, what does that become? 1, 3, 5, 7. Okay. 1, 3, 5, 8. Alright. So, here is the difference. If you know that the opposition are going to be bidding game, and assuming they're not vulnerable and they bid 4 hearts, okay, and you know that they're probably going to make, let's say they're vulnerable, 620, 620, right? That's what they're going to make, correct? But assuming you are competing in spades, and you know you're probably going to go down, and you're not vulnerable, would it be good to bid 4 spades and going down 3? Of course it would be, if you're not vulnerable. Because you were playing MPS, remember? Minus 500 versus minus 620 would give you a very, very good score. But hang on, if you go down 4, you're going to get a real bad score. You go minus 2, you got an excellent score. So that's why you need to work out whether you can sacrifice in a 4 spade bid, for example, if you are sure that the opposition are going to be making 620. But if they're only going to make 420 and you think you're going to go down 3, and it's a stupid sacrifice. Unless you think you're going to go down 2 or 1, then I think it's a very good sacrifice. Okay, so I hope this has cleared out the difference between MPS and IMPs. MPS is percentage, IMPs is points. Okay, those are the vulnerable and non-vulnerable when you go down in any particular contract. Okay, that's got nothing to do with these scores over here, the 20, 30s, and so on. When you go down, you have to remember whether you are vulnerable or not. Excuse me, non-vulnerable. Okay, being vulnerable, especially in imps, it's bad. It's bad because those big scores can add up a lot, especially with your imp scores. MPS, you can get a 0, but the next hand you can get 100. So it's an up and down game. Imps, it's a little difficult to recover from it unless you make one real good play, like make a bid and make which nobody does, like a 6 contract. Then you can recover that because it's kamikaze going down -4 when you're vulnerable. It's really, really bad. Even 3 when you know that opposition might just be making 620. All right, because the difference is fairly big in MPS, in IMPs, I'm telling you. So IMPs, you got to be very careful when you are vulnerable to make any sacrifices. Okay, I hope you got that. I hope this is fairly clear for you. You got a good understanding of how the whole thing get together, how it works. If you have any questions, notify me and let me know. I'm sure you're a little confused, but go over it again, write it down, try and work out the best optimum way of getting the best contract and when to sacrifice, when not. And if you want to check for the scores, and make it your duty to write down the scores. Check at the back of the convention of the card, the bidding card, and that'll give you the scores. With overtricks or even if it's been doubled or you go down, all the scores are there. Okay? Well, have a great time. See you again soon. Ciao.